Fellows, a cruel person has tyrannized himself, more than tyrannize others. The result of actions, good or bad, has a price and eventually impede the person. God says in Surah Ibrahim verse 22, "Surely there is a painful punishment for the tyrants. That this punishment is certainly, both in this world and in the hereafter." Imam Hussein also said in the last moments of his blessed life on the day of Ashura, "My son, avoid oppressing someone who has no helper except for God." Ma'moun Abbasi is also one of the tyrants that with deception does a lot of atrocities to the Prophet's family and their devotees. In this video, we will talk about the odd story of his life and birth. Hello there, lovely friends. I hope you're doing well. Please subscribe to our channel before watching this video, and click the bell button to be notified of new videos. Please like and share this video to show your support. Abdullah, nicknamed Mamoun, son of Harun al-Rashid, was born in Baghdad on Friday night in the middle of Rabi al-Awwal in the year 170 AH, from the Quraysh and Bani Hashim generation. His mother, named Marijal, was from Bajis, in the northwest of Afghanistan. After Harun al-Rashid swore allegiance to Amin, the younger brother of Mamoun, as his crown prince and made Mamoun the crown prince of Amin and the ruler of Khorasan, whispers of the discord between the two brothers were heard, which caused Harun al-Rashid's worrying about the future of the vicariate and the possibility of civil war. Therefore, two brothers, by the permission of Harun al-Rashid, concluded a covenant in the Kaaba, upon that they would commit to each other's guardianship, and not to interfere in the areas under their authority, and a copy of the agreement was hung in the Kaaba for greater recognizance and commitment. After the death of Harun al-Rashid, Caliph Amin did some actions, which raised the basis of violating the agreement. His scramble to infiltrate the provinces, under the reign of his two brothers Mamoun and Mu'taman, choosing his own son Moses as the crown prince, and finally burning the agreement hanging inside the Kaaba, was a clear violation of the covenant, and an official sign of war with Mamoun. Finally, two Syrian wars between Amin's and Mamoun's army in Ray and Hamadan, which both of them led to defeat of Amin's army, which caused the fall of Baghdad and the death of Amin. After defeating and killing his brother Amin, Mamoun came to power in lunar year 198, and made Merv the capital of his vicariate, on the advice of his Iranian minister Fazl bin Sahl. The first years of Mamoun's rule were unstable due to the conflict with Amin, and the uprisings of the Alawites. Therefore, in order to establish his vicariate, he called Imam Reza from Medina to Merv, and in order to pretend to be friends with Ali's family, he first offered to hand over the vicariate to the Imam. After suppressing the uprisings of the Alawites, he went from Merv to Baghdad, to control the territory of his vicariate. After inviting Imam Reza to Khorasan to prevent uprisings against him, Mamoun poisoned and martyred Imam in 203 AD. Mamoun has been considered as impressed by the Shiites due to the promulgation of Imam Ali's superiority over the rightly caliphs, the permissibility of temporary marriage, Imam Reza's substitutionary guardianship, and the return of Fadak to the Alawites. According to Dimyari's Hayat al-Hivan, after killing Amin, his brother, Mamoun met with Zubaydah Khatan, Amin's mother, and apologized a lot, but no matter what he apologized for, he didn't hear an answer. Meanwhile, he noticed that Amin's mother was whispering something, but he did not understand its meaning. Mamoun said, "Mother, are you Maulisan me?" She said, "No." But Mamoun still insisted to know what his mother saying. Until Zubaydah said, "I remember the incident where all your destiny, and the killing of my son were determined, from that incident. And that story is this." Well, fellows, if you want to know the reason for Mamoun's birth, listen carefully to this episode. Zubaydah said, "One day we played chess with your father Harun al-Rashid, on the condition that whoever won should do what they asked the loser to do. Meanwhile, your father won and made a strange bet for me. He said, 'You must walk around the palace naked,' and he didn't accept my apology, and finally I did his request. After that, we started playing again, and this time, I won, and I told him, 'You have to have sex with the ugliest and grossest maids in the palace kitchen,' how much your father insists to me, and even said, he will give me 1 year's of tribute of Egypt. I did not accept. Then I took him to the middle of the kitchen, and I looked around and did not find a maid more ugly than your mother, Marigel, and I said you should have sex with this maid. He forcibly did this and your sperm was congealed.' Now I remembered this story, and I was saying to myself, God anathema me for causing my own son to be killed by pressure and insistence." But, how did the marvelous death of Mamoun happen? Mamoun, that was on his way to his capital, after the Roman conquests, on his way back, reached a well called Bad Andin, current Raqqa, which was known as Ashera. Because of the suitable weather, and a pleasant green and fresh view, he commanded the army to stop there, so that they could use the fresh air of this area, for a while and then go to their homeland. They prepared a very beautiful wooden stand, for Mamoun on the well, and he stood there, and watched the smoothness of the water. While he was watching the water, a very beauteous fish, half the length of his hand and silver, appeared. Mamoun said whoever catches this fish, will get a sword as a prize. One of the soldiers threw himself into the water, and caught the fish and brought it out, and as soon as he reached Mamoun's throne, fish shook violently and jumped out of his hand, and fell into the water. When the fish jumped, some water was splashed on Mamoun's face and throat, and suddenly an unexampled tremor filled him. The soldier jumped into the water, for the second time and caught the fish, and this time Mamoun commanded to grill it. But the tremor became so extreme, that no matter how many winter clothes and quilts were given to him, he did not calm down and kept shouting, "Cold, cold." Meanwhile, they brought him the grilled fish, but he was so distraught and stressed that he could not even eat a bite of it. His brother Emotazim, who ruled after him, immediately commanded to bring the royal doctors, and treat him. After examining Mamoun, they said, "We are unable to treat him. This state of tremor and pulsation undoubtedly indicates his death, and we have never seen anything like this disease in our medical history. Mamoun, who was in a very bad condition, and was shivering at one moment, and had such a fever that his body was sweating profusely, commanded that he be taken to a high place, so that he could once again see his army in soldiers. In Safina al-Bahar, Volume 1, it is quoted as follows: "It was night, Mamoun was taken to a high place, and as soon as he saw the immense army within the radius of the fires that were lit next to the tents, he saw the coming and going of his soldiers. Everyone is busy with themselves, and unaware of Mamoun's condition. Suddenly he turned to the sky and said, 'Oh, the one whose kingdom is not impermanent, have mercy on the one whose kingdom has reached to the end.' Then they took him to his place, and Mutasim assigned someone to tell him about the Shahadatin. Then the man loudly said the words of Shahadatin, and meanwhile, Ibn Masuya, the personal doctor of Mamoun, said, 'Don't shout.' Now Mamoun is in a condition where he doesn't know the difference between the Lord and the Mani, the painter, when suddenly, Mamoun's eyes opened and they were so big and red that it scared every spectator. At the same time, he wanted to kill Ibn Masuya with his own hand, but he was unable to do that, and he passed away. This event happened on Thursday, the 18th of Rajab, 218 AH. Then his body was taken to Tarsus and buried. Yes, fellows, as the saying goes, don't be inattentive by the retaliation of action. Mamoun did not remember about God, when he was nutrify poisonous pomegranates, or grapes to the Imam, and shamelessly, according to Abi Salat Haravi, he came to the Imam's bed and was crying, while the Imam was agonized like a person bitten by a snake and a fallen land fish. At this time, Mamoun never thought what destiny he would have, as Safina al-Bahar states, perhaps the appearance of fish and water in the grave of the eighth Imam was a punishment, an awareness for that accursed, somehow that God will get his revenge by that fish. And of course Modar's Bostanabad also says, it is possible that Mamoun's death by a fish and severe tremors was due to the fact that Imam Reza trembled like a fish falling to the ground due to taking poison, and he shivered during his martyrdom, and perhaps this way of martyrdom of this oppressed Imam should happen to Mamoun, who was an observer, so he could understand the depth of his cruelty. Thank you for watching this video all up to the end. If you enjoyed it, please like it and subscribe to receive notifications of new videos, by clicking the subscribe button and the bell next to it.